Well, it should be a beautiful day. We've been getting great weather, but today's a little bit kind of crappy, so sorry about that. Now, I'm thinking, here's Marco Rowe. A lot of people would know on the film front, he's done 5 or 6 films, but Intermission is, of course, the big success in 2003. On the stage front, 9 plays, 1999's. This is a sort of perfect moment for him where he sort of like breaks through with Howie the Rookie. Mm-hmm. You would have been probably about 5 or 6 when that happened.
I was 99. I was 12. I was 27.
Oh, okay, right. Because I'm thinking, here's a lot of people. The one thing that seems to come across is that people say this could be.
What am I talking about? I'm 17. Apologies. My
We're
maths
both.
went off there.
My brain's a bit frozen as well. I was thinking, what's the name of the play again? In my head, I'm bouncing around. But we should say that it's a play that's been said by more than one person that this could have been written for you. And I don't know whether you recognise that when you read the work, when you got into it, when you heard that people thought that about it. I don't know. Is that something you recognise?
I most certainly fell in love with it. Yeah, I have to say that. I don't know whether I could say it was written for me or not. I remember reading it first. I hadn't heard of it until James proposed it.
Right.
And I picked it up and I read it, and I remember reading the first 3 pages and thinking, this is not for me. I don't like this. But as I got into it, my God, it's some piece of writing. Marco Rowe really had his finger on the pulse, and it's really relevant even 20 years later. You know, it's fabulous. It could have been written yesterday.
Well, that idea, I know initially when it debuted, it was Karl Shiels, the late great Karl Shiels, and Aidan Kelly, and this idea that it's now a one-man show. Was that? I don't know if that's something that Mark ever envisaged, or whether it's something that sort of evolved over the years. As
I think so, because Mark directed the one-man show with Tom Vaughan-Lawlor in it.
Ah, well,
so
then
I think it was his idea. I don't know of anyone else who has done it as a one-man.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a challenge, but it's one I truly love. I really do.
Now, to use a fancy word, is it triptych? Or how do you say that? It's basically a play of 2 parts where you got 2 different characters coming at the same kind of, obviously the same scenario. That you've got Howie, who's a street fighting man. He's sort of a thug, a villain, but then his victim and his friend and his mate and his witness, Rookie, playing those 2 different parts. I mean, I don't know whether you feel you have to physically change much, or whether it's all in the inside, or
both. While obviously there's the physical similarities, it's me at the end of the day, but I try to treat it as 2 different plays, 2 separate entities.
Right.
And you could finish the play at half time and the audience would go home satisfied. It's that good. They really are 2 standalone pieces. But like you say, the Howie Lee, he's a bit of a thug, he's a bit of a tough guy. Not very good with women, a bit shy in that regard.
So this is all why people say it was written for you then.
But then you have the Rookie Lee, which is the complete opposite. He's a coward. He's really good with the women, you know.
Right.
They share the same surname and they share the same address, but after that, that's pretty much where the similarities end.
Now, that idea of getting into what is a sort of celebrated work, and it's won awards and all that, is that daunting? Is it a sort of, because here you are, I know that the company with Stagemad, you've been around for a while, since May 2005, you know what you're doing, but still taking on work that people know and revere in some level.
Yes, definitely. James is renowned with Stagemad for doing new pieces, new work.
Yes.
This is kind of unknown territory for Stagemad. They generally, like I said, they do new writings, and they love to give new theatre a go, which you have to tip your hat to them. And this is my first time working with Stagemad, although I've worked with James before in the past. And it's been a thrill. I mean, I'm really, really enjoying it. It's, like I say, it's a fabulous piece of work, and I'm so glad that Stagemad chose me for this particular venture. Yeah.
Well, now they're Waterford based. You're from Enniscorthy.
I'm from Enniscorthy.
Right. So I'm thinking now, young Mark would say that growing up in Tala, he got inspired by watching basically violent movies and all that, gave him this sort of feeling and this taste for exploring that world. For you, growing up in Enniscorthy, was there some trigger that sort of led you to this?
Well, I'm actually only acting about 5 years. I only got into it very late. My daughter started showing an interest in drama, so I started showing an interest. I always had a passive interest.
Always having to be one up on her. Always one up on the daughter.
I was hoping that it encouraged her. Because, yeah, I have a cousin, a professional actor, Paul Delaney. He's pretty well known.
Yes.
And my auntie was always into drama with local theatre groups and stuff. And yeah, I auditioned for the local drama group and got a part. And I was a publican before that, and I just before Christmas now, I've left the pub to one side and I've pursued a professional acting career.
Well, the late arrival to it, was there something that you sort of deliberately avoided? Did you feel that there was pressure because of the family were already?
No, definitely not. It's just I never tried it. I never chanced my arm at it, and I haven't fallen in love with it. It might be late coming to the game, but I'm here to stay.
Well, no, you're stopping off here very generously on your way to Galway to audition for you were starting another play out in Galway, but then I know that you popped up in season 8 of Game of Thrones. There's Krypton as well. It seems to be pretty busy. I don't know whether that's just my perception or whether you're...
I'm very lucky. I've been very lucky with the likes of little parts in Game of Thrones, Krypton. I got a little part in Darklands that's coming out soon.
Right.
Yeah, I've been really lucky, and I seem to just keep going from one production to the next. I've wrote a couple of screenplays myself. I produced my own short there that's going to be shown in the Dublin International Film Festival there now in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, it's all good at the minute.
Now, it is generally seen as a tough business. Any kind of art is a tough business. I mean, do you already feel, given that things are going well and you seem very productive, which is a big part of it, doing your own thing is huge, as well as getting jobs with other... But does it already feel this is because if you've packed in your publican job, it must feel this is... I
packed in the pub. I still work in a friend's pub. I still throw in a few hours here and there whenever he needs me. And down Houlihan's, big shout out to Houlihan's pub in Enniscorthy. And I still have that if need be.
It's a good source of material. You're asking Friel now. He likes the idea
of it. Exactly. John B. King.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Now that idea too of getting into film and getting into your own kind of work. Would you actually have any sort of slight master plan, or is it just when things feel right? When things.
Yeah, there's no master plan for me as such. I'm very happy to work on screen on stage. I love it. I'm very at home on stage, and I'm surprised how at home I am on stage, to be honest.
Right.
It's because it is quite daunting for some people. I work with people who they're getting sick violently before they go on stage, and I couldn't understand that. How can you work like that? It's just, well, each to their own, but yeah, I'm very at home on stage. I'm very at home in front of a camera, just the same. And yeah, let's see where this takes me.
Would you have such a thing as, I don't know, idols or inspirations? Because if you obviously weren't going up with pin-ups on your walls saying I want to be that person or I want to be De Niro or whatever. It's coming to it later. I'm sure you're free of that sort of idol worshipping, and it's just more the craft.
I was always a film buff. I have to say Marlon Brando, definitely De Niro, Al Pacino, the obvious ones, but I actually love some of Ed Norton's work. I think he's a fantastic actor. Yeah. And Heath Ledger, brilliant. Joaquin Phoenix is fantastic actor.
Joker's supposed to be amazing.
I can't wait to see it. I really can't.
It looks like it's a cut above the rest.
Exactly.
The usual. And Phoenix has had a great run in the last 5 years. Even though he's supposedly retired 1 minute, he just seems to have gone down a great dark hole.
He really is. Yeah. And the dark hole is the right word, because he seems to be at his best, at his darkest,
Sure. Typecasting. There you go.
I don't know about that. Johnny Cash to the Joker is not really typecast.
There you go. That's true. Now, I should sort of let people know who haven't really seen this play. Obviously, it's new to Greystones. I mean, on the poster, we'll say, and on the idea of it, it looks... like a harsh, tough kind of street fighting kind of piece of work, but I get the impression there's a lot of heart and soul in it. From what I've read, the reviews I've read, a lot more than that.
There really is a bit of everything in this play. It is like you say, it's tough on the outside.
Did you order pizza? Is this pizza? No, it's not pizza. Sorry, that was pizza.
It is tough on the outside. It has a tough exterior, but there is a soft centre there. It's it's very Greek tragedy in the sense that there's this foreboding and impending doom all the time, but it's very light in parts, it's very crude in parts, it's quite Shakespearean in parts. The text is quite poetic, actually. It's almost like spoken word at parts. But it's really, like I say, when I read it first time, the first 3-4 pages, I was like, no, this is not for me. But once the layers get peeled back, it really is a fantastic piece of writing, and Mark O'Rourke, like I said, really had his finger on the pulse when he was writing it.
Now, I should finish by saying that theatre goers in Greystones are particularly fond of nudity. Is there any full frontal nudity?
Well, it depends on how much they pay.
Right. Okay, but it's on the table, though. It's possibly on the table.
No, there's no nudity in this one, unfortunately.
Jesus. Why are you wasting me time for?